Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 107. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about comics released the 12th of February 2014. Beginning as usual with my first five, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them. Starting with at number 1, Walking Dead number 121, All Out War Part 7, in the aftermath of the unthinkable. With Season 4 of the TV series resuming this week, series writer Robert Kirkman talked recently about the differences between the comics and the TV series. Quote, I know a lot of people really wish it was a closer adaptation, but I would just say, you've got the comic. And if we were doing the comic on TV, I don't think people would enjoy it very much. I don't think it would be very successful, and you'd find it very boring. Close quote. Kirkman also said he's currently the only writer working on the pilot for the Walking Dead spin-off show, though he won't be a showrunner. Quote, I recognize how risky and scary the idea of a Walking Dead spin-off show is, and it's something I'm taking great care to make sure it's as good, if not better, than the original show. I think people are going to be very excited. Close quote. At number 2, we've got All New X-Men number 23, The Trial of Jean Grey Part 3. Jean is on trial, and it's up to the All New X-Men and the Guardians of the Galaxy to get her free. Guardians of the Galaxy editor Steve Wacker spoke about the origin of this crossover. Quote, Brian has been talking about wanting to do this since it became clear that he was taking over both books. I don't know for sure if he had the trial part of the story planned, but he definitely wanted these teams to meet, and he felt that there was stuff coming out of Avengers vs. X-Men that he could play with. So this has been cooking for a while. Jean Grey is a mutant, but she's from Earth, and the time she traveled from is a point in X-Men history where they're a little less experienced. It gave us a very human story against this cosmic backdrop. To see a lot of the Marvel Cosmic for the first time through the eyes of the X-Men is intriguing to me. That's the part I personally glommed onto. Close quote. At number 3, we've got Superior Spider-Man number 27 point now, Goblin Nation number 1 of 5. The so-called Superior Spider-Man has failed. Under his watch, the Green Goblin took control of New York's underworld. This is all Otto Octavius' fault. Now it's his responsibility to take the Goblin down. Win or lose, this shall be Otto's greatest battle. Whatever you do, don't miss the first chapter of the biggest event in the entire Superior Spider-Man saga. The end starts here. Superior Spider-Man versus the Goblin Nation. Series writer Dan Slott told CBR-TV nobody's safe in this arc.
It's kind of fun because no one knows what's going to happen. Like, one of the things when we're talking about Goblin Nation, one of the things I can tell you about Goblin Nation, because this has been building. We've had the Green Goblin over here, and we've had Doc Ock over here, and it's all, oh my God, what's going to happen? And it's all coming together. And one of the things that I can tell you, and I can tell you with that security of people knowing I'm willing to pull triggers, no one is safe. The minute we get the Goblin Nation, all bets are off. No characters are safe. I don't care. Stan Lee, Steve Ditko created them. They could die. John Sr. Any. I don't care what generation they came from. No one's safe. Everything's on the table. Anyone could go.
At number 4, we've got Batman number 28. This special issue, written by Scott Snyder and James Tynion with art and cover by Dustin Nguyen, will provide a peek at what's to come in the weekly Batman Eternal series, with glimpses at some key characters in the series. Series writer Scott Snyder tweeted an announcement explaining that they would postpone the conclusion of the 0-year Dark City arc from issue number 28 to 29 in order to give artist Greg Capullo time to expand the issue. And so in the meantime, issue 28 would become a 6-month into the future look at what's next for the current DCU. Quote, the current Batman number 28, the finale of 0-year Dark City, will now be Batman number 29, and a new Batman number 28 will come out in its place by me, James Tynion, and Dustin Nguyen, a special thank you issue that takes place 6 months in the future from the present continuity of the DCU and gives you all sorts of peeks into the craziness planned for 2014. And believe me, the issue will have a lot of surprises. After all the support you've shown us on Batman, and in 0-year especially, we owe you big. Big like a debt we can never ever repay big. But with this issue, we'll try very hard to fill the pages with thank you spoilers. Thank you guys from the bottoms of our black twisted hearts. You are Gotham, always. Close quote. And at number 5, we've got All New X-Factor number 3. The All New X-Factor is meant to help people, but one of their own has a secret. Hint, it's Gambit. Series writer Peter David shared Gambit's motivation for joining a corporate-sponsored team. Quote, I don't think he thinks of it as selling out. He sees people he likes going into a situation that he doesn't trust, and he believes that he is capable of pulling them out if things go horribly wrong. Much of his interest stems from not knowing anything about Serval and worrying that Lorna may have gotten herself into a situation that she doesn't understand. He's going to be something of a commentator on the entire Serval structure and will be having some definite dust-ups with Serval CEO Harrison Snow, the guy who he really doesn't get." Close quote. When asked about any connection to the previous series, David mentioned this issue specifically, quote, "A former member of the previous team will indeed be cameoing in issue 3 as it so happens. Hope you like it." Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Star Wars number 14. Ben Kenobi haunts Darth Vader's dreams, even as the name Skywalker occupies his waking thoughts. The rebel victory over his former flagship has exposed spies and incompetence within the Empire, and Vader has decided an off-the-record mission of vengeance is needed to clear his head and restore his reputation. At number 7, we've got She-Hulk number 1. Jennifer Walters is the She-Hulk, a stalwart Avenger, valued member of the FF, savior of the world on more than one occasion, and she's also a killer attorney with a pile of degrees and professional respect. A 7-foot-tall drink of cool emerald water, she's tough enough to knock out Galactus with one punch, possibly, and has a heart bigger than the moon. But juggling cases and kicking bad guy butt is starting to be a little more complicated than she anticipated. With a new practice, a new paralegal, and a mounting number of supervillains she's racking up as personal enemies, She-Hulk might have bitten off more than she can chew, but she just calls that Tuesday. At number 8, we've got Wolverine and the X-Men number 41, School's Out Forever, final issues. It's the end of the year for the Jean Grey School, but where do our graduates go from here? And who will have survived the experience? Jason Aaron, Pepe Larraz, and Nick Bradshaw bring the story of the Jean Grey School to a close. At number 9, we've got Justice League of America number 12. A devastating battle against Despero begins as Manhunter and Stargirl arrive in San Francisco to save Stargirl's family from Firestorm's fallout. And at number 10, we've got Avengers number 26, Adapt or Die. The science war overtakes the worlds. The all-new Avengers strike back. All the answers to questions you wished remained hidden. The collision of Avengers and new Avengers is imminent. For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Astro City number 9. The puppet master behind the attacks on Winged Victory is revealed, though it may be too late for even Samaritan and the Confessor's Aid to be of any use. But Winged Victory finds an unexpected ally, one who gives her a new perspective on the crisis. And then there's Joey. Next we have Batgirl number 28. It's a hazardous reunion between Batgirl and the former Court of Owl's assassin Strix as they face off against the lethal new threat known as Silver, the man who knows the secret of Gotham City's conspiracy of bats. We've also got Constantine number 11, Forever Evil, Blight continues. Project Thaumaturn revealed. The crime syndicate has twisted the world's greatest mystics into something horrible. Is this the beginning of the end? Continues in this month's Trinity of Sin Pandora number 8. Next we have Forever Evil Rogues Rebellion number 5 of 6. The Rogues against the might of the Royal Flush Gang. Guess who just got dealt a losing hand? Do the boys have any more tricks up their sleeves, or will this be the end of their run? We've also got Justice League 3000 number 3. The Flash is defeated. Green Lantern is in the clutches of Locust, a psychotic teenage girl with the powers of God, and Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman have been banished to a planet-wide penal colony. We've also got Nightwing number 28. All the sins of the past still haunt Nightwing. How can he make his peace with his old life if Gotham City won't leave him alone? And we have Suicide Squad number 28. The Thinker unleashes OMAC on the Suicide Squad at the doors of Belle Reve. In this epic clash, not all will survive. From Marvel Comics, we've got Marvel Knights X-Men number 4 of 5. All the X-Men intended to do was locate 2 young mutants and keep them from harm's way. But now, scattered, manipulated, and fighting themselves, the X-Men must get their act together and save an entire town. Can the X-Men stand against an army of villains ripped from their own minds? Next, we have Revolutionary War Death's Head 2 number 1 one-shot. The long-awaited return of Death's Head, one of the biggest hits of the original Marvel UK. Death's Head 2, on an adventure together for the first time ever. What threat could be grave enough to bring these 2 heroes together from across time? How about the villainous Mistech organization resurfacing with an army? We've also got Winter Soldier, The Bitter March, number 1 of 5, 1966. With Nick Fury missing and presumed dead, global espionage agency S.H.I.E.L.D. sends secret agent Ron Shen to collect 2 Nazi scientists with the key to defining who wins the Cold War. But the Americans are not the only ones who want the high-value scientists. The Soviets have opened the Red Room, releasing their most dangerous operative, the Winter Soldier, who unbeknownst to the world is presumed dead partner of Captain America, Bucky Barnes. The brainwashed soldier's mission, to acquire the scientists by any means or kill them should they fall into American hands. This classic 60s-style high-octane spy pulp told at Cold War's peak follows Ron Shen and his terrified scientists as they creep out of the shadows of East Berlin. Intrigue, adventure, romance, and murder abound with ramifications that will shatter relationships in the modern-day Marvel Universe, including one with the Star-Spangled Avenger himself. And we've got X-Force #1. Almost every sovereign state in the Marvel Universe makes use of sanctioned superhumans to protect national interests and pursue a covert agenda. The United States has the Secret Avengers, the United Kingdom has MI-13, and Mutantkind has X-Force. In this dirty secret, no-holds-barred, deadly game of superhuman black ops, veteran X-Men Cable and his team will spy, torture, and kill to ensure that the mutant race not only has a place in the world, but also a stake in it. From Boom Studios, we've got Robocop to Live and Die in Detroit #1 one-shot. Why we love it? With the release of Robocop, a reimagining of the all-time classic, fans of the new and old will be immersed in the action, oppression, and humanity that is Robocop. We cannot wait to be the first in line for this new motion picture event. Why you'll love it? 4 anthology-style one-shots exploring the world of the new film, brought to you by some of the freshest voices in the industry: Joe Harris, Frank Barbieri, Ed Brisson, and Michael Morici. What it's about? Robocop is too good at his job. While the people love him, his ability to find and remove corruption puts fear into the corporate heads and government leaders. With OCP at the wheel, they will do their best to steer him away from the powerful corrupt leaders and keep him on the lower-level criminals. But some crimes cannot go unpunished. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got X #10. Carmine Tango, the ruthless supercriminal obsessed with astrology, has returned to Arcadia. When his army stages a citywide blackout and begins looting the city, X takes to the streets. But as Lee soon discovers, X and Tango have a history. This fight is personal. And from Valiant Entertainment, we've got Harbinger #21. Resistance ratchets up the stakes. Peter and the Renegades wanted information to be free, but now they're about to pay a very steep price. Once again, the Renegades are on the run with the combined forces of the Harbinger Foundation and Project Rising Spirit closing in on all sides. This time, however, the team's newest member, Axe, has left a trail of leaked classified information that could win the day, but also put a few loved ones they have into dire peril. And now the moment has come when they must choose between their fate and their families. Out in trades from DC, we've got Invisibles Deluxe Edition Volume 1 hardcover. These stories from the Invisibles #1 through 12 introduce the team's latest recruit, a teenage lout from the streets of London. Can Dane survive a mind-altering training course? We've also got Marvel Masterworks The Defenders Volume 4 hardcover. Steve Gerber's Defenders ranks as a high watermark of 70s Marvel. Taking the famous non-team and mixing in his own unique brand of sharp social commentary, Gerber brought forth stories both action-packed and insightful. We begin with a classic 4-part saga featuring the bigoted Sons of the Serpent that brings members past and present together to defend the defenseless. Then the Guardians of the Galaxy hit the scene and take the Defenders to the year 3015 AD. It's an amazing adventure, including the debut of Starhawk, and while we're at it, we added the Guardians of the Galaxy's first appearance too. Oh, and there's an elf with a gun. You'll see. Collecting Defenders #22 through 30, Giant Size Defenders #5, and Marvel Superheroes #18. And we've got She-Hulk by Dan Slott, the complete collection Volume 1 trade paperback. Everyone's favorite Jade Giantess, She-Hulk, is returned for tons of fun, both on and off the field of battle. As a superhuman lawyer, She-Hulk has tried some of the strangest cases on Earth, but now Shulky is heading into deep space to practice universal law, and upon her return, the Emerald Enchantress matches muscles with Hercules. But it's going to take brains, not brawn, to get the Prince of Power out of some Herculean legal problems. Plus, no one hates She-Hulk more than Titania, what makes her one of the deadliest threats in the universe. And how is Hawkeye's fate tied to She-Hulk's latest case? Dan Slott's fan-favorite run is collected in 2 massive volumes, so join She-Hulk as she deals with the bizarre legal problems of the Marvel Universe, collecting She-Hulk #1 through 12 and She-Hulk #1 through 5. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video of all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.